What's up, everyone? And welcome back to the Naturally Yours podcast. I am your host, Ty the Natural, and on today, I have a wonderful and beautiful guest today by the name of Stacey Richardson, who is the CEO and owner of Walk In Your Purpose Apparel. This is a Black owned company. Sis is doing her thing, as you can
Hey, I see you,
see.
I see you, I see you.
So help me welcome my sis, Stacy. Hey,
Hello,
sis.
hello, sis. Thank you so much for the warm welcome and introduction. Hello, everybody. Nice to see you. Nice to meet you. As she stated, my name is Stacey Richardson, aka Stay Rich. I Stay Rich, and I'm the owner and founder of Walking Purpose Apparel. She rocking a wonderful, dope sweatsuit, that mint sweatsuit. That I love that on you. You look so good on you, sis. You rocking it
Thank
well.
you. Thank
I
you. I love it.
appreciate
I
it.
love it.
I appreciate it. It looks nice and comfortable. I had that color also.
Girl, it's so comfortable.
It is, isn't it? Nice to keep you warm. It keep you warm.
Girl, as soon as I put it on, my hubby like, where are you going?
You can match me, boo. You can match me. You get the red one, you get the gray one with the black one.
Yes, let me get all the colors.
I
So,
appreciate you for the invite today. I'm so excited for this conversation that we're gonna have. So yes, I'm excited.
me too. Me too, sis. So, first and foremost, won't you introduce yourself to the world and let them know just who you are and what you currently do, Stacy?
Definitely. Well, my name is Stacey Richardson. I am originally from, well, I live in and currently live in Indianapolis, Indiana. I've been living in Indiana, the state of Indiana, for all my life. I used to live in Northwest Indiana, which is not too far from Chicago. So if you heard of Gary, Indiana, that's where I'm
I
from, the
have.
home of Mr. Michael Jackson, the greatest ever. That's where I'm from, and also a town called East Chicago. So it's in Indiana, but it's not too far from Chicago. So that's where I'm from. A little bit about me. By day, I still have that wonderful 9 to 5. So I'm still working in this wonderful corporate America world as an accountant. That's what I do by day, but I'm a full-time entrepreneur as well. So as I stated, I am the owner and founder of Walking Purpose Apparel, which is the number one motivational apparel line in the world. I'm going to speak that into existence, but I know it's here, it's happening, and she rocking it well. She's one of the best to do it. My beautiful sis. And I'm also an empowerment coach. So I'm here to empower people to walk into their God-given purpose. Here to help people that feel like they are, they have issues with confidence, self-esteem, things of that nature. They feel like the underdog. They feel like they, the black sheep of the family. I've been in those atmospheres. I've been in that. I felt that way. I've been going through depression. I've been through so much, so I'm here to encourage other people that, hey, that's not the final say. So you do have a purpose that God has given to you. So it's time for you to walk into it.
Yes, yes. I love the name of your brand. I
Thank
do.
you.
Because it's so true. We all have a purpose, and everyone
Definitely.
needs to know that. And it's like
You do.
you empower us with your brand
I
because
appreciate that.
people forget. People forget the talents, the gifts that they were given. And I love that you created, you know, pretty much your purpose inside of the brand, you know?
Amen. Amen. I agree. I just thank God for the idea. I mean, a little bit behind the idea of how it came to be. I guess, yeah. How did that happen? Well,
Yes.
um,
Tell us,
yeah.
tell
Well,
us.
tell us. Yeah, well, it seemed like I want to say around 2015, 16. I went through a tough time. I was coming out of a relationship. At that time, I was going through, I was a little bit heavier than I was now. So I was going through a transition of also my weight as well. I went through weight loss surgery. And I just knew, even at the job I was working at, after had finished college and everything like that, but I just felt like God has more for me to just work a job and that's it. I wanted
Right.
more in life.
Right.
I was seeking God more. Of course, I was involved in church and things of that nature, but God, like, told me, like, hey, you do have a purpose. You have more
Hmm.
than that. So what I began to do, I began to blog about things I went through in my life. So the blog was actually called Walking Purpose. So I didn't think of nothing of it. I was blogging here and there, and then eventually at the beginning of 2020, right before the pandemic hit,
Hmm.
um, it came into no, you need to expand this more into an apparel line. and it was always on my heart to start somewhat of an apparel line. But when it came to me at that time, I knew it was the right time to do it, and coincidentally, it came right before the pandemic hit,
Yes.
and it was also a big hit because at that time, so much was going on in the world. People was,
Yes.
unfortunately, we lost a lot of loved ones at that time, but people still need to know, to be encouraged, to be empowered, to be motivated through it all. So, that's what I did. I designed, my idea is it to be more of a household name brand. You have Nike, you have Adidas, you're going to have walking purpose as well.
Oh, yes, we are. I love that. Yes. Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Definitely.
ma'am. And I feel like your brand has more of a purpose, more
Thank
of a
you.
empowerment purpose. So
It
it's,
it does.
I
It's
love
more.
it.
It's actually more than just apparel. It's breaking off into different things. I'm a type of like person that I'll wait till it actually happens before I speak too much about it. So I have other things in the works that is going to expand off into. But it's
I
here.
love
It's
it.
like this is something that major is going to happen with this. So I just I thank God for the idea. That's all I can say. I give Him the glory and
Yes.
the honor, and I just hey, I rep it well. I rep it well all the time.
Yes. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So tell me this, Stacy. When I know you said you were going through a tough time through
Mhm.
depression and all of that. Did you want to go into a little bit of that? Like
Yeah.
what you were actually battling? And then
Yes.
like where were you? Like
Hmm.
when you had this moment of God's presence speaking to you like, Stacy, I want you to start blogging about this, or I want you to turn it into an apparel business. Like where did that actually come in
See, there we go. Let's get there, huh?
at?
No, I mean honestly, you're right. Where was I? Excuse me. I was in a dark place. I was in a very dark place. I felt like, when you get in a relationship, sometimes you lose yourself. You get so deep into a
I know.
relationship. See, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yes.
So I want to say a lot of times, even though the relationship is not ordained by God, sometimes we have to go through those situations in order to find out it wasn't ordained by God, in order to find the right person.
Yes.
Okay, in order
Yes.
to know what, in order to have a testimony, because I feel like my life has
Yes.
just been a living testimony. And I was
Amen.
so wrapped up. I'm telling you, sis, I was so wrapped up that I lost myself. I lost my self-worth. I lost my value of self. And because of that, it led me to depression, because I felt like once the relationship was over, I'm looking like, well, maybe I don't have nothing else to give. I don't have nothing else to live for. I was stressed out. I felt like I was just walking blindlessly through life.
Hmm.
The relationship, not even just the relationship, life itself. I felt like I was at a dead end job. I didn't really like what I was doing. I felt like, hey, I went to college, and this is all that life, has to offer. This job
Right.
is not what I
Right.
thought what my life would be. I thought
Right.
I was gonna be doing major things by now. So, you know, with all that going on, even when I was out of that relationship, I was homeless for like a couple days. I didn't have no place to go. The relationship was over. I was kicked out the house.
Oh.
It was horrible. So I was like really going through a lot. And I didn't want to tell my mom. I had
Hmm.
pride. I didn't want to tell her
Right.
everything I was going through, because she knew. Mothers
Hmm.
know, but
Right.
and she knew the relationship wasn't going to be what I thought it was going to be also. And I didn't want to be honest about that. So, I had to keep that a secret and try to figure it out. Eventually,
I've been there.
I eventually did, but I knew, like I said, going through all those things, even with the weight issues, I was battling um, obesity at an all-time high. I felt like I was, I remember one time I checked myself into the hospital. I felt
Hmm.
like I was about to have a heart attack.
Oh no.
And this was like literally a couple weeks before I was already scheduled to have weight loss surgery.
Mm.
So all this was happening, like it seemed like all at once. Like, my grandmother passing away. My grandma was like the most important person in my life. To see her pass away, find out she had cancer, and then not even a full month later, maybe a little bit over a full month, she was gone, and having to deal with that, and like the relationship, and like everything was like back to back.
Like a
Being home, like it
domino
was it was
effect.
like all back to back within a couple months. Less than 6 months time span. So that was a lot to go through. So
Yes.
once I was
Yes.
breaking through, that's when I was figuring like, God, you got more for me.
Mm-hmm.
I have more to give in this world.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, you know, even though I felt like it was all over, it really
Mm-hmm.
wasn't. I
Right.
had to go through something in order to encourage other people,
Yes. Yes.
and that's a hard thing to do.
It
Going,
really
you
is.
smiling at church, but you depressed inside. That's what I was going
Right.
through. I was living a facade because, yeah, I believe God, but at the time I start to question Him a little bit, like, what's going on here? What is this trial that you got me going through? You
Right.
know,
Is it going to end?
yes, is it gonna end? Yeah,
Like, pull
but
me out, God. I'm
right,
done.
pull me out. But at the end of the day, honestly, I was having suicidal thoughts too, because I'm thinking like, well, I can just take myself out of here. Forget all
Oh,
this. I don't want to go through. And people say that suicide is a selfish way out. Yes and no, but it's not the way out. I'll put it that way. It's
right.
not the way
It's
out.
not the way out at
Because
all.
we don't know what other people are going through. Some people have gone through worse than what I've been through. And that's just a snippet of what I've been through. And they felt like depression, I mean, they felt like suicide was the only way out of the depression that they were going through. Because it's hard to go through depression. You can't just say get over it. You can't just
Right.
say, snap out of it, smile. It
Right.
just don't work that fast. It's something
Right.
that you really have to process and go through. And some people, unfortunately, they go, they end up going the suicidal route because it's such a hard experience of depression. Sometimes it lasts longer than what you feel like it. Sometimes you don't even know you're depressed. That's the crazy thing about it. You know.
Girl, like me, I was in denial and
Mm,
deflecting it. I never would admit to myself when I was
really.
going through my state of depression. I just knew something wasn't right. And
Right.
I was asking myself, like, am I depressed? And I'm like, no,
Hmm.
we ain't depressed. Because in our community, we
We don't.
frown upon it.
Yeah.
And we make you feel like something is wrong with you
Right.
because you're going through that. But
We don't want to admit it. It's like
exactly.
it's so taboo. Depression
Yeah.
and mental health. Period. Is like, now I think now it's becoming more acceptable to talk about. But before people don't want to talk about that. It's like,
Mm-mm.
no, I'm not depressed. I'm all right.
Right.
I'm
They
good.
want to just hold it in.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And
I've
that's
been
not the
there.
thing to
I
do.
was one of them, holding it in.
Holding it in, and not really able to express what you're going through. Because sometimes we really can't really verbally express what are we feeling, why we feel so disconnected,
Right.
disengaged,
Right.
not doing the things that we usually like to do, not finding no joy, in the simple things that we like to do, and
Right.
that's signs of depression.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Exactly, sis. So
So yeah.
when you got to your moment of writing your blog, sis,
Mhm.
were you already done from your relationship? Were you already single, or were you
At
still in your
Yeah.
relationship
At
coming
that
out?
time, I was official. I think I was dating again or something like that. But at that time, I wasn't in a full relationship. So even with the blog, it's funny. I did at one of the blogs. I talked about dating experience. It was, I'm married now, but at that time, it was just so interesting how I'm glad I'm married now, but that way because even now it's probably worse than it was then. The dating
Okay.
scene is just crazy. People are really nuts. Like
They
I was on the
are.
apps and everything. I was swiping left and swiping right, and people was nuts. That's crazy. I'm like, oh, this can't be it. This cannot be it. And I remember saying one time, I guess the person I'm supposed to marry don't live in this state because this is horrible. This is
Yeah, you never know who you gonna get on them apps, girl. Being
people
catfished
are
and whatnot.
nut catfish, and then just people, they say crazy things that just, of course, go drive you. You don't want to meet them after them seeing some crazy stuff, but then
Right.
even, or if you meet up with them and they just still like, this ain't gonna
Mm,
work.
right.
This is just
Right.
not
The
gonna work.
vibe is off.
Yeah, the vibe is just totally off, and oof, I had people begging me to be with them. Like it was just, this is just, it's just too much. Like,
But this is not for
it's
me.
like it's that I don't I can't, that's what I'm saying. I'm happy that I'm married now because
Okay.
dating apps is just not the way. I mean, some people have found their spouses on there. More power to
Right.
them. But
Right.
for me, ooh, it was an
She's like,
experience.
no, ma'am, no ham, no, thank you.
No, no. But so yeah, at that time, I was doing the blogging. I was, dating here and there, but I wasn't nothing serious. So, yeah, I did enjoy a lot of the blogs posts I wrote about just things I've experienced.
Right.
Talked about depression. I talked about losing my grandmother. How, that was very impactful for me. 'Cause I never thought that that would happen. Well, I mean, I never thought it would happen like that so quickly, so soon. We
Right.
think, of course, our grandparents, our parents, we think we're going to have them for a longer
Forever.
period of time. We never, yeah, forever. We want to have them forever. And then when it happens, it just it catches us off guard. And it
It
was
sure
just the
does.
emotional, pain that I had to go through. I'll tell you a little story about that. I'll just jump to the day that she passed away.
Okay.
My sister she had text messaged me, and at that time we already knew she was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer.
Hmm.
And that morning she said, "Oh well, they're saying she only got 2 weeks to live," and I'm like, "Oh man!" So I went back inside my job and I told my boss, like, "Look, I got to get out of here," and that's a 2-hour drive from where I'm at.
Mm.
So I don't know, something in my spirit was just not telling me to rush. It was like I was moving in slow motion. So I was taking forever to get in the car and go home and pack a bag. And I was like, well, let me go rent a car instead of driving my own car. It was like I was just like delaying the time because I think in my
Hmm.
spirit knew that
Right.
it's gonna happen sooner than you expect. So eventually I get in town. Like I'm telling you, like I was just like slow motion. I'm like going to get something to eat. I'm doing this and doing that. Then I finally go up to the hospital.
Hmm.
So as soon as I get to the hospital, my aunt calls me. I'm like literally parking my car at the hospital. I'm getting out the car. She's calling me. And she said, well, they're going to move grandma to wherever she said. And I'm like, okay, well, I just pulled up. And she said, you didn't talk to your mother? And I was like, no, why? And she was like, grandma just passed away. And I was I like literally like my legs were shaking. I just like dropped, and I'm like I'm trying to process all this. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I was just
Right.
told this morning she got about 2 weeks. You
Right.
know,
Right.
it took me forever to even get here. The 2-hour drive, I took forever. It took longer than that to get here. But mind you, she passed away about an hour or two before I got there. So it's
Mm.
kind of like in my spirit knew like if I would have rushed up there, I probably would have saw her pass away. So thank God I didn't see that. But I did. My aunt was still there. My grandfather was there, so I did. I told him to take me to the room, and I just sat with her for a while, and I was just looking at her, and I'm praying and
Hmm.
talking to her, and it's like only God can get me through that. If I didn't have the
Right.
Holy Ghost, if I wasn't, a believer of God, I would have lost my mind. Seeing her like that,
Hmm.
and I literally stayed there until the funeral home came to get her, and it was just like I said, all that happened so quick, and for me to deal with that unexpectedly, yeah,
Hmm.
it was a lot.
I believe it because I remember losing my grandma, and girl, I was at work.
Wow,
And my mom had came in and told me, girl, I dropped to the ground and was in
really?
tears. She
Yeah.
had to pull me up off the ground and I had to leave.
Oh, you
I
had to
couldn't even
leave.
finish my shift.
I
I
would
had
have.
to get up
Yeah,
out of
ain't no
there.
finishing no shift. No.
No, ma'am. I was
Oh,
gone. I couldn't believe she came in there and told me that. I was
oh, I'm sorry
done.
that
I
you.
was heartbroken.
Oof. Yeah.
So
So
I
you
I
get it.
definitely
You
know
get
how
it.
you feel,
Yeah.
sis.
I had to. I had to call my sister
Mhm.
my sister when they called me and told me she only got 2 weeks, and I had to call my sister while I was at the hospital, and she was still at work, and I was like, so she's a teacher, so I was like,
Mm.
are the kids gone for the day? She's like, yeah, they just walked out, and she was like, what, why? And I just had to tell her like, grandma's gone, and she was just like, what? Just it was
Right.
just so heartbreaking. That whole day. And, because my grandmother was the matriarch of the family. So it's like, since then, of course, the family dynamics has definitely changed. So, going through that, to this day, it'd be 9 years this year, but I feel like yesterday.
I know. I know. I feel like that too with my grandma. I feel like
Yeah,
yesterday. I,
feel
I
like
still
yesterday.
remember it like yesterday.
Hmm.
Mm. So,
So,
um, I wanted to ask you, I know you said that you wanted to empower or your brand is to empower. Would you say that's your Was is that your main mission behind walking your purpose, or what would you say your mission is behind your brand, Stacey?
My mission is definitely to empower those that feel like they've been defeated, those that feel like they're overlooked, especially in the family. Sometimes we feel like we're the black sheep of the family because either we our mindset is a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
How we
Mm-hmm.
view and our perspective of things a little bit different. So it's like, you ain't, yeah, you related to us. So or just your transparency. Like me, I've been through identity issues, so I'll be transparent with that as well. Identify as bisexual. However, I am married to a woman, and for my family, that was like, oh no. I was I was raised as a Jehovah's Witness. I eventually on my own started to go to church and identify as a Christian, apostolic Pentecostal. However, even with that alone, religious views, that make me the black sheep, who I'm married to. That makes me the black sheep. So I'm here to empower those that feel like, either your family don't want to accept you fully. Sometimes society want to accept you fully, but look, you do have a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
God gave us all a purpose, and it's time for us to walk
Mm-hmm.
in it. However, we need to be motivated, encouraged, and empowered, no matter who you are. Because a lot of times we live in a society that as soon as you get on the internet, social media got you thinking that everybody's just living it up. And a lot of people,
Right.
like we talk, people are like a lot of these. It's a lot of sheep and wolves in sheep's clothing out here. Trying to
Yes,
be
it
one thing, but
is.
they're really not. And it makes people fall into this season of depression because they feel so pressured to be something that they're not. And you
Yes.
really have to you really have to live yourself unapologetically. You need to know who you are. You need to identify yourself and know who you are and know your likes and don't likes. Don't be so caught up in what the world likes and the world wants you to be. Be yourself, transparent,
Yes.
be yourself. And that's the thing I had to endure, being
Mm-hmm.
transparent. It's a hard thing to be transparent in this world, in this day and age. Everybody's not gonna
Okay.
like me, and I'm okay with that. And
Me
I
too.
had to accept that. And once I accept that, that's when I fully start walking in my purpose.
Yes. Yes. Yes, sis. Excuse me.
You good?
Um,
You good,
so
sis?
I, girl, my throat. But anyway,
Need some water. You know what? It's funny. I don't have no water right here. Usually I have like I'm ready. I got some water. I'm like I ain't got no water. My mouth could be
me
dry.
either. Me either, girl. And I need some, but it's okay. We
We go
go keep
press
it
through
going.
this.
So I have a few more questions,
Yeah.
sis. So, what's a tip that you can give to someone else that is wanting to create a clothing brand?
Definitely do your research. People think that the industry is oversaturated. I beg to differ. A lot of people, come into the industry, and they don't really, I don't want to say they're not successful, but they don't do the research that is needed in order to be successful. So when it comes to if you want to start a brand, do the research. What do you want to do? There's so many different ways of going about starting a t-shirt brand. You can do screen printing. You can do HTV printing. There's so many different ways to do things. So my thing is get more. I will say get more centered on what you really want to do. Do you want to? No, actually, what is your reason why you want to do it?
Yes.
That's my thing.
Yes.
Do you want to do it just to make some money, or are you doing it because you have a bigger goal in mind? So that's number one. Why do you want to do it? Are you doing it just because it's trending right now? Because you see so many people got a brand right now. Everybody got. I saw somebody yesterday that I went to school with. She just released her brand. I'm like, okay. And I'm not laughing at it, but I'm just like, it's interesting. Like so many people, and then someone else that I went to school with, he said it's funny. He said something yesterday about everybody wants to start a brand now, and
Mm-hmm.
then later on we see that. So it's like everybody is starting one, but I don't think everybody is actually wanting to do it because it's a desire. For some
Right.
people it is a side hustle, and that's fine.
Right. But then it's like if that's what it is, it's gonna be hard to keep going when it get hard
It
because
is
there's no why there, you know. And
exactly,
I've been there
exactly.
creating. I created lip oils
Really?
Yes, girl.
Okay.
I went on a hiatus because I was doing YouTube and I was editing on my laptop at the time, but I kept having issues with my laptop. It would keep freezing or keep crashing. And so I could never get done with my videos. And it was driving me nuts. So I was like, I'm done with this. I'm quitting. I
uh,
was like, I ain't messing with this no more. I'm sick of this. I'm tired of going through this mess. And girl, I was like, I'm gonna find me something else to do. So then I went and researched some companies, and then I found this one that did like some wholesale stuff
okay.
where I could get my lip stuff,
Yeah.
all the materials, the little jars.
Okay.
Like they gave me
Yeah.
everything I needed to
Everything.
create it.
Yeah.
And so, girl, I ordered it, and girl, I think I messed with it like 3 times, like trying to make the concoction. Girl, the first
Oh,
time
he
I
said,
messed it up. The second time I left one of the oils out, so when it hardened, it was too hard.
oh no.
And then I think the other time the oils just would not. They just didn't have that viscosity that I was looking for.
Okay.
And I was like, I quit. I
You
was like,
sound
I'm
done
done.
with it.
I was like,
I mean, it seems like a lot of work, like you said, if you don't have the why, that might be, and that's the thing, even though you was testing stuff out, it's okay to test different things out. That's how honestly, that's how you do find your purpose, by testing things out that might not work, fail, and it's okay. But sometimes, like you said, it's a lot of work and it might not be for you. The work might not be
yes,
for you to do.
right, right, absolutely, absolutely.
But see, you got
So
the experience now, though.
I know, and girl, what's so crazy is I never wanted to be. I never thought I would have a podcast, and then I never
Really?
thought I would want to speak and empower people.
Really?
Girl, I had public
Wow.
speaking fright. Like
Wow.
I even took a public speaking class and was scared to death to get in front of the
Yeah.
class to talk to them.
So well, look at you now. See, and it's turning out wonderful. You're doing a wonderful job at doing it.
Thank you, sis. Thank you,
Wonderful
sis.
job.
I
No problem,
appreciate
sis. I'm
you.
proud of you. I
I'm proud of
am.
you too, sis. So, I was gonna ask you.
I'm sorry. I probably was running my mouth so much I made you lose your train of thought.
No, it's okay. It's okay. So, where do you see your walking your purpose business in 5 years, Stacey?
Well, as I stated in the beginning of the podcast, my even though a branch of this is the apparel line. So eventually, I want to do more when it comes to more content, video content. I want to do movies and things of that nature. So it's like Walking Purpose is an
Yes.
enterprise. It has
Yes.
different
I
branches.
love
So
that.
it's certain levels to it. So I mean, I have I'm one of my passions, even growing up, was to write. So that's why eventually I did blogging and things of that nature. But
Okay.
when I was younger, I wanted to have my own magazine company. I was like,
Okay.
Khadijah James. I wanted to
Girl. Okay. Khadijah had it going on.
that's what I wanted to do. I had that desire. And nowadays, people really don't do magazines like that no more. But I still, I have written plays and stuff like that I never like really finished all the way, and I have books and stuff like that. So like that's a branch of it too. So Walking Purpose is like an enterprise. So it's different layers to it. It's just it's
I
different
love
things I
it.
want to do it.
I can
Financial
see
literacy,
it.
things of that nature. So it's different things that help people walk into their purpose. Put it that way.
Yes. Because everyone's different.
Yeah,
So basically, you're catching everyone with a different element because everyone
definitely.
learns and grasps the things differently. So I love that. I love that.
Thank you. I mean, it's a working process because it's like it's so many things. I
Hmm.
so many ideas. I put it that way that I have, and it takes work. Like you
It
have to.
does.
My overall goal takes a lot of back end work. I have to learn different. That's why we was talking about before we went live, like the different skills. So I'm learning skills here. I'm learning how to do different things so it can meet the overall need of what I'm trying to do.
Got you. I love it. I love it, sis.
Thank
And I
you.
cannot wait. I wish you all the success
Oh, you gonna be
in
here with me.
walking purpose, being a speaker, girl. You got it going on. So I
You
wanted
know,
to ask you a question about speaking.
yes.
So when did you find out that you wanted to empower people with your voice?
That's so interesting too. As well, just like you stated, like it's been times when I spoke and I was just so terrified, like, oh my god. And it's funny because it seemed like my younger self. There were
Hmm.
times when I just, I was more confident. I didn't care. I've preached. I'm also a licensed minister at the church, so I've preached many times before. But then it's
Hmm.
like sometimes I'm looking like I'm not getting in front of nobody and talking, like I can't do it. So it's like it's in me to do it, but
Hmm.
sometimes there are times when I be like, I can't do it. I have to encourage myself. I have to look in the mirror like, yes, you've done this before. Keep going. It's okay.
Yes.
But I
Yes.
love talking to people. I love encouraging people, especially younger people, like, preteens and things of that nature. Like younger, that generation needs the encouragement.
Yes,
They
they
need the
do.
empowerment because sometimes they don't get it from at home. Sometimes they
They
don't get
sure don't.
no love nowhere. So
Okay.
they need somebody to, lift them up and say, hey, you can do it. Or just to see, to pull out their potential. They
Yes.
have so much potential, but if they
So
don't have
much.
anybody to speak that life into them, then that potential goes unnoticed and it goes away,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely, sis.
So, yeah.
So when it comes to an apparel business, what is one thing that you learned thus far being in that industry that you can share with
Ah,
someone else?
yes. I've learned in this game that it's best it's you need to make some connections. Is you make as many connections as you can because word of mouth is the thing. How people end up finding out about you anyway. A lot of people think, well, I'm just gonna put a whole lot of ads on Facebook and Instagram. That's not the way to go. Like, you need to, get in a community. I've done vending events and I really
Mm-hmm.
enjoy that because that's one way people can know, what the the company stands for,
Right.
and know who I am, put a face in a name with the name of the company so they can be like, okay, this is the brand.
Mm-hmm.
So making those connections, just like here, being on the podcast, going live on Instagram about it, like, put yourself out there. And a lot of people don't want to put themselves out there when it comes to their business. But even if you don't want to put your name, your face behind it, get somebody to be a brand ambassador for you. That's what I learned. Like, maybe put somebody else as the face of your business, but you do need to make connections in order to go a little bit further in this thing. Because, like I said, a lot of people think that the industry is oversaturated. I don't believe it's oversaturated. It's just a lot of people getting in here. So, in order to stand out, make more connections.
Got you. Got you. As we've been told, it's the year of the collabs.
Yes, it is. It definitely is. Because you never know who's going to be watching, who's looking, in the background. As you see all the celebrities, they're rocking a pair left and right, and we all want somebody, the big person, somebody big name to wear it, but it's not just about that. But, being true to who you are, being, your authentic self and being transparent wherever you are, you are the light and
Hmm.
people will draw to that. And people can tell who's fake and who's real. You can
True.
peep that out. So
Okay.
if you just out here just trying to make some money, people go peep that out.
Yes, they are.
So
Yes, they
yeah,
are.
don't try to jump in this game think you just gonna make a whole lot of money with one set, one going live one time. It don't work like that. It takes some
Okay.
work. It takes a lot of work.
Yes, it does. Hard work and dedication, consistency.
Definitely. You have to, yeah, you have to know your why. You have to know your why.
You have to. You have to. It's a requirement.
It is. And
So,
connect your. I mean, yeah, it is a requirement because, like you said, you did try, you know, with the oils and everything, and you tried it, and then you realized that that wasn't the why that you thought.
no, I'm like, this isn't not it. This was just, I was just trying to do something to make some money. That's it.
See that trying to make some money. It seemed like probably a good idea when you first invested in it, but then you realize like, nah, this is not it.
It's like my heart ain't really in it,
Right,
you know?
right.
So, just had to call it quits, girl.
I understand because if you're doing something just for the money, eventually your heart is really not in it. It has to be more. You have to have a purpose behind it. You
Exactly. It's
really
got to
do.
be, what is the mission behind it?
Yes,
If there's no
yes.
mission behind it and the mission is just to make money, that mission's not good enough.
Not at all.
Mm-mm.
Not at all. Because as soon as
No
somebody
way.
offer you something else, you go quit it for something else. Somebody offer you
Exactly.
another dollar, you go quit it. So you have to be willing to endure when the money ain't there. You know, when times I don't make sales, I'm still rocking. I'm still with it. Times I do make sales, so it's like you have to have more than just the money. It has to be,
Yes.
a bigger mission, like you stated.
Absolutely, sis. Absolutely. So, one last question before I let you get out of here, girl, because I know you are busy. Busy being productive, that is.
Yeah, that's right, right. Not just busy to be doing anything. You gotta be busy being productive. I agree,
Yes.
sis.
So, tell us what motivates you to work hard in business or just in general.
What motivates me to work hard is because I know I haven't hit the pivotal part in my life where I feel like I've successfully made it. I feel like I know there's more that I need to be doing, and it's more that I have to get done in order to me to hit that peak. And I feel like I'm forever growing, forever evolving. However, I know that I haven't fulfilled my potential as of yet. So therefore, that keeps me grinding. That keeps me going. That keeps me,
Yes.
up on my laptop at nighttime, watching videos and watching, getting information and research and things of that nature. Low key, I am a nerd, certified nerd, but I don't care. I like to be informed. I like information. So
Okay.
yeah, so
Hey,
I
my
feel like
husband's a nerd. It's okay.
is it? See, that's good. So we nerds, we cool. We like to be informed. We
Right.
like knowledge.
Yes.
I
Yes.
mean, it's a good thing. So yeah, that keeps me going. That keeps me motivated. I listen to motivational podcasts and things of that nature as well. So I have to, know that in order for me to, I know I'm here to call out a certain type of demographic. So I
Mm-hmm.
have to keep going. If I stop, then I
Yes.
feel like I'm doing them a disservice because
Right.
I'm not gonna be able to reach them if I stop.
That's how I feel. That's how I feel. So, absolutely, I agree 100% with you, sis.
Thank you, sis.
You're welcome. And thank you so much for coming on the podcast, blessing us with your beautiful soul and your brand. I am so proud of
Oh,
you. And your brand is so dope.
thank
And
you.
I'm so glad I got mine. It won't be the last. I'm gonna have to get my husband one so we can be twins.
Yes, y'all could be twinning out here in these streets.
Yes. So why
I
don't you tell them,
appreciate it.
sis? You're welcome. You're welcome, sis. Why don't you tell the people where to find you, or if you have something upcoming, like an event, or any sales, or if you want to make a sale, or put a special code in just for this episode, you more than welcome to do that too, Stacy.
Definitely. Well, you can find me definitely on IG underscore I stay rich. Yeah, contact me right now. If anybody watching, listening, I give you a special discount just for watching this episode on behalf of my sis supporting. Right now, I have some things in the works. I'm in the process of finishing some journals, so y'all be on the lookout for that. This is a year for me to
Okay.
release more. So, yeah, the Walking Purpose Journal is it's
Let's
coming
go,
out there
sis.
soon. Yes, yes, it's go time. It's go time for that. So that's what I got in store for right now. That's all I got for right now. So you wanted a special discount, inbox me. I gotcha. I gotcha. And make sure you check out the website walk the letter n purpose.com. Once again, it's walk the letter n purpose.com. I got so many things on there. Got the jumpsuits, different colors. I got hoodies. I got joggers. So go ahead and check it out. T-shirts, all that, hats, everything.
Yes, yes. Sis got everything you need. So get over there to the
Everything.
website, go shop, hit
Go
up sis so
shop.
you can get a discount and shoot.
Definitely.
Let's walk in your purpose.
Yes, indeed. Walking your God-given purpose, everybody.
Yes. So thank you again, Stacy, for coming on, accepting my invitation. I'm so thankful, so grateful for you. And I wish
Oh,
you all the success in your business.
sis, I thank you so much. I am so honored. I definitely appreciate you giving me the time to be on your wonderful podcast. So proud of you. You out here growing, thriving, and you out here grinding. So I'm just I love that the fact that I love the fact that we have a great, wonderful connection and relationship. And like I said, I'm inspired by you as well. So thank you so much, sis. I love you. Thank
I
you.
love you too, sis.
I
But
love
love you too, sis. So we are out, y'all. Thank you for listening to the Naturally Yours podcast, and we out.
you. Well, yeah.
Peace.